Okay, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Tula Community Podcast. I haven't filmed a solo sesh since I guess it would have been the holidays, the Christmas related one that I recorded back in December. And it's good to be here, and it's nice to be back in this space to be able to talk. And actually, if you are on my Instagram, you'll know that this episode is actually something that I've been putting off. Oh no, no, there's another episode that I want to record. I don't know if I'll do it today. This is my second podcast of the day right now. So right now we're March 10th, and I've already recorded an episode almost 2 hours long with Hunter Bergen, who is many, many things. But she's also we use a lot of other terms for it, but for like if you're new here or something, I don't know. She's my assistant at Tula Community. But I like to call her other names because I don't really like that name, but of course it is a very quick translation into what she does and easy to understand and conceptualize. But I like to call her like my right hand girl or gal, or like my sidekick, or like my back pocket chick, like I like to call her like other fun names. I don't really like that word, but people won't understand what I mean unless I use it. So I'd like to find something else. But anyways, so we just recorded that episode today, and I thought, well, I have all this stuff set up, and I have been, yes, putting this off for quite some time. And actually, this episode that I'm recording now, I don't really know how long this is going to be. But there was another episode that I wanted to record, and it was going to be on and in reference to the quote, "Jack of all trades, master of none." And I've been talking about this on my Instagram or even in some of my YouTube videos, probably for over a month now. And so, no, it's not this podcast that I'm recording that I was putting off, but that one. Now I remember. But even this one, it's been, I think, maybe a week and a half since I released what I want to talk about in this episode. So it still has been something that I've slightly put off, if you will. But what I want to talk about in this one is actually I want to share. I'm going to add in the audio that I have from one of my pieces on Substack. And I don't think I've talked about the podcast. Sorry, I haven't talked about Substack on the podcast at all, because I wouldn't have actually really started it until it would have been after Christmas. I think it was sometime in January that I made my first post and made my account. And if you're not familiar with Substack, I would say primarily it's a writing website and app. And it seems that there's quite a lot of writers on there, but there seems to be a good amount of everything. And I think it's a pretty open place for people who, of course, want to share in their writing, but you don't have to be writing stories or anything factual or anything like that. You could also just be writing your life experiences. You could be writing about your photography and sharing more photos and things like that. And it's not a place that's censored or anything. So if you want to talk about the things that it seems that we're just not allowed to talk about on some of the other apps, you can freely do that. And it's an open place that allows you to just say what you want to say, and nobody, at least for now, doesn't tell you that you can't talk about that. And I really hope that it stays one of those free places, because censorship, especially in art, is not, I feel like it's just not something that art is. Art is not something that can be put into a box and told you can and can't do this. It is, of course, as you know, this very open, moving, living, breathing, fluid, expansive, creative, and of course open to interpretation thing. So I've been writing on Substack, and I'm honestly really enjoying it. And it has felt like a slower and more intentional place, and I've really appreciated that when it comes to something like an app or social media. And when you're going there, you know that you're going to be reading and you're not consuming media that is fast or with any sort of algorithm, I guess. Like you're not, even your own shares, I of course want them to gain some traction, but I'm not too bummed out if they don't get like a ton of traction, basically, But I wanted to share this piece that I wrote, and I have to open it on my phone because I don't even really remember. Even Hunter asked me about it today. She's like, "Oh yeah, what was the title of that one?" And I was like, "I don't even know what the title of that one was, but I'm gonna open it on my phone." And hopefully I don't touch on too much of the same stuff in this part of the episode that I'm gonna add in the audio bit that I've recorded. But the piece itself is a 14-minute audio. I believe it starts a little bit into it though, the me actually transcribing what I wrote. So you could probably just skim through to find that. I can put timestamps below when I post this episode. But what I wrote was Inviting in Fluidity is the title. So Inviting in Fluidity. And the subtitle is Witnessing a Lack of Mental Malleability. So this came to me from quite a few places, actually. I have quite a few friends and even just people I know or see or observe who not only can't allow for an openness and the belief of everything being doable or possible or anything like that, but also a rigidity or even a stuckness and putting themselves in a box or just putting things in a box and not really seeing things for either maybe bigger picture or opening the walls of these boxes or just seeing the ways that you could do this and do that. And I feel that that's something I've either practiced and gotten better at, or maybe I've always been slightly good at it, is just seeing the ways that you can do things in life and that there's answers and solutions for everything. And you don't have to be in this place where you're just like, oh, well, I want to do this, but I can't because this, or it's just too hard, or no, I don't want to, or I'm gonna give up on it, or I want to do this career, but the schooling is just too much and I don't think I can do that. Whether it be just mentally or with maybe they don't feel they have enough time and maybe they don't feel they have the financial means to do so. All very valid, of course, right? But I really try to do my best I just want to help people to live better or truer or from the heart. I just want people to be contented and fulfilled and nourished in the deep parts of themselves. And I feel as though I've been able to spend so much time with people who are living these beautiful lives that they've created for themselves, still with aspects that they don't love, of course, right? But I see it so much, and I witness it in just people even that I don't know, where I follow them or I read their books or I watch their videos and I see what they're doing with their lives, and you become inspired and motivated, and even you have the understanding that that is something that can be done because it has been done. And so for me, I don't have too many at this point limiting beliefs, probably quite a few that I don't know of, but I really want to help you and help others who just feel so, I guess, is discontented a word? I don't know. But they just don't feel contented. And so I witnessed this, and to me, like, I'm doing my best to hear and help and support and listen, to whatever they're going through. But I also feel that at a certain point in that conversation, I feel that there's a solution aspect of myself that comes in. And what I had noticed is that either whoever I'm talking to, and it's no problem to me, but either they're going to receive that or they're not going to receive that, and it's one of the two, and they might stay in this place of still upset, still worry and complaining and victimhood and all of those things, or they might receive it and think, I didn't think about it that way. Now, obviously, that would be the ideal response in my hope, is help. But it's not typically always what happens. But for example, I have some friends that want to change careers, or they want to do not fully maybe their own thing, but they just want to start following the path of something that feels a little bit more theirs, and it's of something that genuinely interests them and that they feel that they have a lot to give in that area or field, and they feel naturally drawn to it, passionate about it, or interested in it. But sometimes with that comes the limitation of something like education. And so to me, then my mind, I'm like, well, there's like all this possibility. And instead of feeling so scared about or worried that, I can't afford that and I can't do that and I won't have enough time, and if I go to school then I can't work as much, and it's too long, I'm not even sure I could go to school for that long, and what if I quit halfway through? Like, all very, very valid reasons and thought processes, and nothing new to us. I've been there many times myself. But to me, there's always a way. And so what rigidity would allow you to believe, or keeps you in that container of, is a limiting feeling, a limiting belief, something that keeps you stuck and small, and also only operating from this very narrow lens, and this narrow lens of a story that either you have always told yourself, or one that has been told to you by those that raised you, or people that you know now, or things that have come to you just from all of this, all of your life experiences, and even the connections that you've made, and the way that you've gone about your life. Like, if you've always gone about your life, and at school you were the kid who got picked on relentlessly or something, you probably might not as an adult feel confident, or that something is wrong with you, or that you don't have the ability to achieve something or to be good at something, because you were always put down by those around you growing up. So there's this story either that plays consciously or unconsciously in your head about how you're going to go about your life, and you get stuck in this. I wish I was filming this like as a video, because I'm just like, I feel like an air traffic controller. I'm just like, I got these my hands like doing this narrow path in front of my eyes, like, but like, just this, this tiny little tunnel almost. And if it's all you know about how you feel about yourself and how you go about life, and either seeing or not seeing opportunities, that's always how you're going to show up in all of the things. And nothing's really going to change. Like, you could have a job right now that you don't really like, and then later on you do find the career that you love, or that you thought that you would really enjoy, and there might be a lot of happiness or betterment in that new career, but eventually, with that narrow mind, you're gonna find something else that's wrong with that, or you're not going to allow it to continue to see all of the opportunities or the goodness that provides you with. And so I just see, this rigidity around people going to, wanting to change their career and go to school and all of those things. And that the school is the limitation, the money is the limitation, and the time it takes is the limitation. And so I say to them something like, well, why don't you try to find work at this moment in something that is directly attached to what you want to do, or is exactly what you want to do, and you work with them. You don't do maybe that job because you need some education, of course, but you connect with people who are doing what you want to do. And really, it's two roads that are going to show themselves to you. It's going to be that you connect with them. They have all of this wealth of knowledge. They have so much interest and passion, and they're doing the thing. And they're doing the thing because they want to do it. And you see them doing the thing that they want to do, so there's heart there. But also it continues to inspire you to do that thing, because you're seeing it like, wow, like they're doing it, and I'm with them, and I'm having these conversations about the job I want to do, or the career that I want to follow, or the service I want to provide to someone, or even just it doesn't even have to be like these words of career and job. It's just that you're interested in this thing and you feel really inspired by this, and you feel that you have something of value to offer to people in this, a new take, another approach, a way to make that world, whatever that world is, better. And so you're with these people who are doing the thing. And I find that oftentimes, especially things that are not extremely education focused, like, of course, things like you would need education if you want to perform surgery or something, yes. But if you want to do other little things, like, not a lot of them always are going to need you to need school. Some of them, they might allow for a lesser education. Either it's just the application of you being there and doing the thing and learning alongside someone, showing an interest, actually being passionate about it is going to get you like really far by just being interested in that. And also, if you do want to pursue knowledge or education in this area, and you plant yourself in that place that's doing something similar or exactly even what you want to do, that place is also probably going to be more likely to give you the flexibility that you need to be able to go to do some of those courses and also still work with them, because they see that you are someone who is willing to try. And people want to help people who not only want to help themselves, but people in general at the baseline want to help people. It's part of really who we are. Not everybody's so good, but on average, like 90% of people that you're going to run into really have great hearts, and they want to support you. They want to help you. They just want to, even something small, like people want to hold the door for someone. Again, not always, but people want to. They see it and they're like, oh, let me help. Let me take a photo of you and your friend. Let me, do this for you. Oh, I'll just, okay. Oh, here, like you've dropped this. Let me, people want to help. And so you place yourself in that environment that you're thinking that you want to be in, and you either find the two roads. And there's that one road of, okay, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm finding this so captivating, I'm finding further curiosity, I'm surrounded by like-minded people who think the way I think, who want to support this world that I feel interested in. And that's really beautiful, it's great. And then you could find this other path, this other road. And that road would be, I did this for a year or whatever, and I don't want to do this. I don't really think that I like this. And I think that road and path comes up for a lot of people. How many times we've been there? I've been there so many times that I thought I wanted to do something, and I didn't really end up wanting to do it. But for me, I've never found it to be time wasted or not worthwhile or anything I regret. I feel very happy that I've done all of the things that I've done, even if I dropped out of university, even if I started a new thing, even if I picked up some other sort of course. Like I can't even begin to tell you how many times I picked up some sort of nutrition related something. I've picked up that so many times in my life. I picked it up early before I even went to university, I'm pretty sure. And then I went to university to try to be a dietitian. And then I did 2 and a bit or something like that years there. dropped out, then spent some time doing whatever, I don't even know. And then I picked up another sort of like vitamin course, nutrition course, again, like virtual. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've been there. And I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not one. I don't even do anything to do with that anymore or at all. I never became like any sort of health guide person. But I'm not upset about it. I don't find that was any sort of waste. I feel really happy that I learned a lot about food and the choices of what we're consuming and how to make quote unquote good choices for ourselves. And everything I've done, every job I've had, every career I've had, I don't feel upset about that. But I know that that's a big thing for people, that they say, what if I do the schooling and then I find I don't like it? What if I change the job and I find I don't like it? And I waste money and I waste time. And so what I talk about in this Substack piece is that I just find that you are a human. Yes, we need to survive. Yes, we need money, of course. The foundation of our needs, the hierarchy of needs, is obviously very valuable and important to us and actually crucial. We need to be able to be housed, to be fed, to be nourished, to have sleep. And that exists in our world. We need that. But we're also beings who have we have many lives, I would imagine, but I know, really what we can understand. And even for myself, I'm like, I can't even imagine what it would be like to do another life. I don't even know how that will exist. So I don't really know if that's the way. And so it's like, to me, in my mind, I have one life. I have one of this current conscious experience of a person named Whitney, who is just this being in a body that only I see through my eyes. Only I feel my body. Only I feel the calling or the truth. Only I feel my intuition. Only I feel the pull to do this or the push away of I don't want that. And only I can listen to this conversation of my heart saying, do this, try this, try that. And so you are a being, you are human. You are a soul in a body that gets to witness. You get to see, you get to hear, you get to taste, you get to speak, you get to absorb, and you get to send it all back. And you are here to live in the senses. Like, you are here to see it all, do it all. So you don't have to do one thing. If you don't want to do that one thing anymore, you can do something else. And so I just talk about that in this piece, is that I feel like I'm a human having a human experience. And I'm curious about so much. I'm interested in so much. Now, I'm interested in probably too many things. Like, I don't, like, to me, I don't care. But to maybe somebody else on the outside, I like many things. I want to do hundreds of things, and I do do many things. But I love it. I just feel so happy that I know little things about so much. And still curious, still open to trying it all and just seeing what I find and speaking with people who are really educated in different areas. I just feel so excited, so happy to communicate with them and see what I find. And they tell me, oh, you can do this with your camera, or you can try this with your recording of the podcast, or you can, if you try this and this and that, like, I just feel so happy to still be here and be alive. And so I don't want anyone to really feel rigid and stuck and lost and limiting themselves and living just in this, this kind of, I guess this way that just isn't honoring their heart, but also for many people I know, that when they get to the end of their life, that they're going to be upset with themselves that they didn't do more, and that they regret missing out on stuff because of their own limitations, or what they've been told, or how their parents speak to them, or how their parents raised them, in that voice in their ear of, you can't do that, don't quit your job because this, and don't try that, or you're not going to make any money with that, or you're not going to, like, I don't want anybody to be upset with themselves and live with regret by the end. And I really feel that I want to inspire you to do the thing you want to do. And if you don't end up liking it, so be it. And this is coming from a person who has had 3 million hyperfixations on different things. I've done so many things at this point. I still have so much more to do. I haven't even done that much. But I've done so many activities, and then just found that I liked it or didn't like it. And if I didn't like it, I'm no worse for wear. I'm actually better off. I'm better off that I went to school and dropped out. I'm better off that I tried to, I mean, I have a podcast, I didn't try to, but I'm better off for this knowledge. I'm better off that I pursued photography. I'm better off that I know about baking because of doing a pastry apprenticeship in New Zealand. But again, I didn't pursue being a pastry chef. I mean, at one point I was really interested in that, obviously, and I wanted to do that. But I know I'm not worse in this current moment because I learned how to bake cakes and make French macarons, I didn't lose anything from that. Now I just know how to make French macarons, that's cool. It's exciting to me. I'm not worse for wear that I didn't have like a high paying, proper career, and that I spent a lot of my time in my life working for places that were small businesses. I pretty much only worked at small businesses except for one single place, learning firsthand from people, connecting straight with the owner when I needed something, learning the ins and outs of small business, not big business, and then utilizing any of the other time I had to work at a garden down the road from my house. I'm not worse off for that time where I wasn't maybe making as much as I could have because I spent time at that garden. But what I learned was how to grow vegetables and how to feed myself and what plants need and why they need it and how they need it. And that's endlessly valuable. So I think you should just do the thing you want to do. I think that you should invite in some more fluidity in your life. And I think that has to start with seeing opportunity, being open to the fact that you're here to live, you're here to experience. I think that needs to come into your body. And I think that you need to move your body. I think you need to move your hips. You need to roll your shoulders around. You need to find different ways to dance, to shape the body in a way that is not linear or ways that you've moved it before. I think you need to allow the energy to move and see that you have the capacity to be a little bit more loosey-goosey, And so I think you need to find that space and almost that liberation of I'm just going to move the way I want to move, and I don't care who sees me. And if it feels safe, of course, do it at home when you're alone and put music on and just dance. Don't look in the mirror if that feels uncomfortable, but bring in fluidity. Take fluid breaths. You inhale, you exhale. And you see what the body can do and you see where the world takes you. Because as soon as you're interested in like one new job or career or something, I bet you 100% tomorrow you're gonna meet someone, you're gonna get to talking with them at the coffee shop, and you're gonna say, well, what do you do? And they're gonna say, oh, I work in whatever. I make candles. And that's exactly what you wanted to do. You wanted to make candles. And you're like, huh, wow, you make candles. Yeah, I make candles on the side or as a full-on business. I started whatever. I do this. Here's my card. And they're going to talk to you, and then you're going to sit with them, and you're going to learn all about how they make candles. And now all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. I want to make fucking candles. You know? And that's how it works. That's how it all plays out. It knows better than you. So remember to stay really open to that. Ask questions. Be really curious. And show up when you're supposed to show up. Don't worry ever that you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. If you are home and there was a feeling in your heart to stay home, stay home. If there was a feeling in your heart to go to a certain thing downtown, go to the certain thing downtown. If it told you to leave halfway through, leave halfway through. You're always at the right place at the right time. And the people around you, if you start talking to them, it's no surprise. They're there to share with you. And it doesn't even have to be something related to what you wanted to do. But I bet you're going to find some knowledge with them. You're going to find out something. I had to go to the hospital like 2 months ago. I was in emergency. It's all good. But I was sitting there and I got to talking with this guy, this older gentleman. And he was a nice guy. And we ended up at the same area together of the hospital after some time. And he asked me what was going on and we talked about our whatever. And then we started talking about how he's like, if they told me that I'm gonna die, or that if I have lung cancer, or if I'm deathly ill, I'm just gonna start smoking cigarettes again, he said. And I said, yeah, it's so funny. That's what I always say too. It's that if I get to a certain age and they tell me that it's gonna happen anyway, I'll probably just start smoking cigarettes again because I like it so much. And so we bonded over the fact that we both still identify as smokers. And we loved smoking. And we both felt very similarly that if we get to this part of our lives, that would be, we both have had this thought. And in my conversation with him, I come to find that he owned gas stations. So I said to him, well, it's a great place to get cigarettes. And he was like, yeah, And so he owned multiple gas stations and all of these things, and I don't even remember all the things we talked about, but it was enjoyable, and we had some laughs together. And I'm sure that I gave him peace at the hospital, and he gave me peace at the hospital. And I thought, I didn't really learn. Well, also we found out that we both smoked the exact same cigarettes. We both were Du Maurier smokers. I thought that was also quite funny, but I didn't learn anything from him that was towards photography. I didn't sit down with that guy and say, he was like, I'm a photographer and I shoot with also Nikon and I love it. And, I use these settings and this filter and it was all the same as what I do and all that stuff. No. We connected on a completely different thing. I gained some knowledge about him. I probably learned a few tiny little things about life from him. But I didn't learn anything about my job or career. But I learned something. And I felt that I was in the right place at the right time talking to this gentleman. I mean, what are the chances that we're both talking about how we just want to have a cigarette and that we both smoked the exact same cigarettes and he's a business owner and I'm a business owner. And we had this great conversation and it just felt very natural, like it was meant to happen. I was meant to be there. And I've had so many of those moments, millions of those moments. They're incredible. They're some of my favorite parts of life. I should record a podcast about some special moments I've shared with people that I don't know, that I just run into. But you see, you can even take that opportunity It didn't have to have any gain for me. I didn't have anything attached to it thinking, oh, this guy's going to advance my career, or oh, I'm going to keep pursuing him because he knows and he's going to help me. No. I learned some really cool shit and we had some good laughs, and that was enough for me that day. It really did give me peace. It made me happy. I was excited to tell my mom all about it, and we laughed and laughed about it. And that's the joy of being alive. And you could find that in all of the things you do, even these careers and jobs and interests and passions that you want to follow. You're going to sit down with someone. You want to become a painter, you're going to go to a public paint night, and you're going to sit down beside someone. And you're going to paint something real ugly because you're learning. And the person beside you is going to laugh because you're laughing. And then you're going to look at theirs, and theirs is kind of not that great either. So you're going to laugh with them. And that nothing of what you're painting looks like a dog, but you're trying, you know? And there's enjoyment and happiness to be found there. And then you're going to go back because you had fun, and you're going to see them again. And then you're going to go back the next time, and they won't be there. But you'll think of that moment or those moments, and then you'll go back the next time, and then they'll be back. And then you'll keep doing it, and you'll keep trying and showing up and being interested. And I believe in talent, but I also believe in it's the effort, it's the application. I believe that people are talented artists, but I also think that it's not recognized enough to be applauded for the effort. Because I can paint today and do an okay job, but if I kept going at it, like at this moment, you probably wouldn't consider me to be a talented painter. But if I did it for the next 5 years, and I watched a few YouTube videos, and I read a few books, and I talked to a few painters out in the world, I would become really good in 5 years. Because it's a balance of talent, maybe natural, and interest from the heart, from something guiding you to do it. And it's also the effort. It is the application of what you are learning and putting it there. And I feel like so many people see people that are really good at something, they're like, wow, they're so good, I could never be that good. I'm like, you could be that good. You can be good at anything you want to do. Anything you want to do. And if you still find in a few years that you're not that good at it, that's fine too. Yeah, actually, when I wanted to record this, I wanted to record it as a mini pod. It was going to be a mini podcast because I wanted to put in the little clip of the Substack stuff, and then I was going to like talk a little bit at the beginning to like introduce it, and then I was going to talk a little at the end to like outro it, and I mean, that's not what's happened. And I was really worried when I started doing these solo sessions. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to talk by myself for a long time because, you know, there's no one here to talk to you, but it seems to be working all right. If you need to take a breath, you know, take an inhale. Exhale, so good. You know, just allow life to unfold itself. Just allow it to unfold itself. I think I'll add in the Substack share here. So I said it before, but I'll say it before I put it in for you. I'll put a timestamp at the bottom, but I do talk a little bit at the beginning, like I said, of this 14-minute transcription. So if you want to skip through that because you're tired of me talking, you can. But yeah, this is my audio transcription of this piece about inviting in fluidity and witnessing rigidity and a lack of mental malleability. So I hope that you enjoy that. And I'm not sure if I'll talk. Maybe I'll do a little outro at the end. But here it is. So I share in this piece what really inspired me to write this. And what I didn't really share is that this is a bit of a combination of things that have presented themselves to me now and things that I'm seeing and witnessing, watching, hearing, and conversations I'm having as well with people. It's also coming from more recent things that I'm seeing, like people's shares, and I wrote about that in this piece. But it's also something that I feel I've seen for a long time, and I think that I wrote down something about fluidity and rigidity in my notes. I have like Substack ideas in there, and so it's something that I've touched on definitely before in the past, maybe just on Instagram, but it's not something that I've really talked a lot about here. But it's something that I work with quite a lot and see in people, and wish that there was a bit of a shift for people around this. So inspired by my conversations with my friends and people I know and all of that, this share here, inviting in fluidity. Inviting in fluidity. Witnessing a lack of mental malleability. We see so much rigidity. These beliefs that keep us stuck, limited, and mentally cramped. As I viewed some content from a few creators, I saw shares on Substack titled, "Why I Don't Like This Saying and Don't Like That Saying." The first thing that came to me was rigidity and limitation, a lack of mental malleability. But of course, never discounting the validity of their feelings and beliefs. I love seeing what people have to say. But even then, through my eyes, when I witness this, I wonder where we can invite in fluidity and a lack of harshness when it comes to all quotes, beliefs of others or yourself, and ways of life. Witness the way art can roll into more art, more creation. Witness the way colors inspire us and knowledge of the world around us makes better, more moving pieces. Witness the way intelligence rolls us into more art, more creation. Witness the way expansion makes you a better person. Remember, in your spiritual practice, you're invited to let go. Let go to receive, let go to allow, let go to heal. In Chinese medicine, let go of anger to heal your liver. Let go of your expectations of an event to allow it to be what it really is. In yoga, this principle is called aparigraha. In Buddhism, we reflect on impermanence or anicca to remind us that everything is changing. As are you, your body, your internal, your external is constantly changing. I wonder where we can meet it with our minds too. You see the way grasping harms us. We've heard it time and time again. Letting it go, letting it be. This flexibility is witnessed in photos I've taken. I get the opportunity to see the way that my subject takes it and makes their own art, their own idea of what looks good with that particular creation, or the way they showed up to our session together and how it translates outwardly to what they're trying to express. This week, I was listening to Rick Rubin's podcast, Tetragrammaton, the episode with Kai Dickens. Kai was sharing about telepathy, consciousness, human potential, and non-speakers with autism. She mentions that everything starts as a thought. The nozzle on a hose, an automatic dishwasher to create the camera, to have a physical photo, the printer, the cell phone, a candle. Everything began as a thought, stating the importance of the origin of everything you see in front of you now. She shares with us how powerful the thoughts are and touched on telepathy and not discrediting the abilities of those who are nonverbal, as thoughts carry with them such capability, and through her research discovering not only the power of, but the strong existence of telepathy. I started thinking about the chicken or the egg. The idea had to come first for it to exist. whether in physical or digital form. I've always thought the egg came first. And you can witness how creations such as podcasts support you to create new art and expression. Remember that the best thing you can have is knowledge. The more knowledge, the more creation, the further understanding. The way we click the shutter on the camera and it results in something different because of the inspiration you found when you read a book touching on the way the author viewed the ocean. You could take that photo on the same day, remembering that multiple realities exist, one where you didn't gain new knowledge, and one where you listened to a podcast or read a book. Go to the water at the same time, same location, same camera, same settings, and take an entirely different photo because you have new knowledge, new discovery, new understanding. Perspective. Where did this limitation come from? How understanding supports us to grow and change. We see so many limiting beliefs and such a lack of self-belief. It's always been extremely important to me to have a deep understanding and knowledge on why we do what we do. The root, the core, the psychology behind you. Oftentimes it feels as though there's an imbalance of self-doubt in the world compared to the self-confidence and open, positive approaches. I witness my friends tell me they're too new at something to start, to be good at it, to even bother trying. To me, I'm really grateful that they come my way for help and support. I feel as though I'm the perfect person to help them because my mindset is on the complete other side of the spectrum. This way of life they've found for themselves is something that feels really foreign and exhausting to me, if I'm honest. Why are we so limited in our understanding of the possibility of life? Can we see that there's so much out there for us? There's work to do, creations to make, help that's needed, so much help that's needed. Opportunities to be seen, grasped, and made yours. Inner happiness to feel, contentment to be found, the motivation to wake up and do what you want to do, waiting right there at the foot of your bed. Imposter syndrome seems to be one of those things we're just falling into because it's a new term making its way through our generation. What even is that? You are who you are. Be it. I'm not the most dedicated yoga teacher. I'm not the most dedicated photographer, but I don't feel like an imposter. I feel like a creator. I feel like a human who allows fun and newness. I am a human having a human experience. I'm here to do it all. I'm no imposter. I breathe, take a photo, I'm a photographer. There's too many constraints, too many areas of capitalism coming in, making you believe you need a course or university schooling on art to be an artist. If tomorrow I stop taking photos again for the rest of my life and my work with spiritual entrepreneurs ceases, so be it. Maybe I'll become a monk, renouncing it all. Maybe I'll become a storyteller. Maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll start working with women healing their wombs and sexual traumas. Maybe I'll follow my deep dreams of being a stand-up comedian or chef with a best-selling cookbook. I'm not sure what I'd do, but it would show itself to me and I'd do it. This share comes from my own real-world inspiration from moments I've shared with people, but it also comes from this piece, You're Not Stuck, You're Afraid by Mark Groves. I'd like to share some excerpts that feel like powerful messages that reflect strongly what I'm trying to say in this piece. Also, we can get stuck because of an unconscious loyalty to the stories and limiting beliefs of our families, friends, culture, and community. The stories we tell ourselves are something to think about. That story of who we think we are, can you set it down? Sometimes I think people I know don't want to make the change because then they'll have nothing to be upset about, nothing to complain about. They just don't want life to be that good. Another quote from Mark Groves. We can spend hours of therapy and coaching trying to get to why you won't choose whatever it is you want, or what is wrong with you that you desire more, or what you learn to bypass what you know in your soul to accommodate those around you. Or we can see you as brilliant. We can see the things you're avoiding, confronting as the gateways to your liberation. We can see that trying to find why you are the way you don't want to be is preventing you from just being who and what you desire. You see here the parallels, the two paths to be walked. Why do we go round and round in circles wondering why? What's wrong with me? This isn't good enough. This is a problem. That's a problem. Can we take that energy and utilize it in a way that supports that deep feeling you have that tells you there's more to experience, sit with, and to enjoy, more to feel, more to allow? Is it really the worst thing if you try and it goes differently than what you expected, for better or worse? I wonder where we can find the understanding that wherever you are, you're right on time. When you arrive somewhere physically, mentally, or emotionally, whatever life brings to you, you're right on time. You are here. This time is all that exists. Be here now. And why not try it all? I speak with friends who won't try a new thing because it seems like a waste or not worth it if they're not good at it right away. Really closed energy. I feel for them because at one point I carried this belief for myself too. Fortunately, for a few years, my path was crossed with a very special person who saw in me things I was blind to see. During my time with this person, I worked with her at a flower farm she owned. A time where I was doing a ton of new things, working with the land and with nature in such a pure, raw form. Like many millennials with immigrant parents, I have experienced the pressure to be the absolute best at something. If not, you're considered a loser, not good enough, and that you will never be successful. After many moments together of me beating myself up, she said to me, "I'm not sure why you think you're going to be good at things right away, especially things you've never done before." I was stopped mentally. I probably still spoke, but I think it was very few words. The message hasn't left me since, and fortunately it's come in handy to allow me to branch out on my own existence of experiences and a willingness to try, fail, and make mistakes. I have a very hard time with rigid thinkers, limited believers, those who don't want to live life. We must explore with transparency and honesty with ourselves why we're so addicted to the negativity. Where does it come from? What is so deeply seated in you that keeps you bound by the mind? For the millennial generation, I think a lot of it comes from having the boomer generation as parents. It's nothing new to find the boomers to be extremely limited, lacking, scared, and highly traumatized without any repair. I find the boomers can't take accountability for anything. It's on us now, any of the younger generation, to look within, heal, take responsibility, and choose the life we want for ourselves. Inviting in fluidity. Can you find a way to play with sayings, play with your limitations, and think outside of the box? Stay open and curious to all around you. There's so much to learn and discover in everything, in every day, in every conversation, in every drop of water hanging off of a leaf. I'll close with another part from Mark Grove's piece. The anxiety and depression created from this are not because you're broken. They're because you're not listening. Listen. Choose. You already know. And stop trying to fix yourself. That pursuit reinforces you're broken. Just become. Stop delaying. Start. Now. For fuck's sake. Here if you need. Whitney. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll link the post below. I'm pretty sure that you can just read whatever you want on Substack. I don't think you need to have the app or an account, but I'm not 100% sure how it works. But if you'd like to read it or see other shares that I have, we've been writing twice a week. I've been writing more than that, but I have 2 shares that are consistent, one on Fridays and one on Sundays. And Friday is called Homebody Friday, at least at the moment, because once summer comes, it probably might become something else for 6 months of the year, and then the other 6 months when it's winter, it'll probably be called Homebody Friday. So right now it's Homebody Friday, and this is just, it really was inspired by me not feeling like I liked the pressure of having to go out necessarily. I mean, I like to go out, but I feel as though lots of people are homebodies and they do want to be home, and then they feel as though they're kind of missing out on something sometimes. But I just wanted to honor the homebody and those who want to be in their space, and even if they would prefer to just hang out with one person, they're not group people. I'm not a group person, so something for that and something for them. So just a weekly share about what goes on in my world and in my witnessing, and helps you to understand that it's okay to want to stay home and you don't have to go party and drink and be basically miserable because you're poisoning yourself. And trying to be part of this group that just isn't, maybe that it's not you. And I think that needs more reinforcement in society. And then my second share is on Sundays, and this one is called Sun Day Ceremony. So in yogic practice, every day is connected to a certain goddess or god or Hindu deity. And Sunday is the day of Lord Surya. And Lord Surya is the sun god. And so every day has a different energy. Every day is attributed to a different deity. And this is the day of Lord Surya. And so I call it Sunday because it is the day of the sun. And Sunday ceremony is slightly more spiritual, and sometimes I'll put some more things like maybe a little mini meditation in the audio transcription, and stuff for you to prepare for the week if you are like a Monday to Friday person, or just something for you to have a routine and tradition to come back to every Sunday, that you honor yourself or those around you. Maybe you make some food for the week, and so you have this tradition where you take care of yourself, taking breaths, meditating, moving. I'll share with you what I do or what I did that day or what I intend to do that day. And yeah, it's a little bit more spiritually inclined Sunday ceremony, but still something to come to weekly. And then I share a little bit in the week when I feel the need to share a different audio or writing or whatever it is. So those are my 2 shares right now on Substack that are consistent. And then I share little notes, and I share quite a lot of my photography work there. And yeah, I really enjoy it over there. So I'll link all those things below. And thanks for listening to this episode. And yeah, I guess it was a long-winded way of saying, chill out. Oh, okay. Love you all lots, and thanks for being here. And I appreciate you being here and listening to me